Ew, tapping in real quick for this UFC fight night that's fitting to take place Saturday evening. We're back in the Apex for this one with 12 fights to talk about, and that main event is a bang out in the welterweight division between the ranked number 11 and the ranked number 9 welterweights in the world. Currently ranked number 11, the OG, the veteran, Gilbert Burns, taking on currently ranked number 9, the up-and-comer, Michael Morales. I do appreciate y'all for tapping in. This video right here, this is the full card breakdown and predictions. I'll do my absolute best is not to hold y'all ear hostage for too long, but you already know how that goes. Now, I'm not necessarily sure what that lineup's gonna look like come fight night, but this is the one that I have in front of me this morning. So this is very much so the one we're gonna rock with. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go ahead and dive into it. Now, as of right now, that first fight of the night is women's MMA. And one of these young women has opened up as a significant favorite at minus 400 for the Tiny Tornado, Tisha Torres. Pennington. I still can't wrap my mind around that. It's always been the Tiny Tornado, Tisha Torres, or Tisha the Tiny Tornado, Torres, now Pennington. Anyway, fuck all that. She's a minus 400 up against Luana's plus 310. Luana, 31 years old, 5'4" with a 62-inch reach. The Tiny Tornado, 35, 5'1" with a 61-inch reach. Now, Luana has a 4-year youth advantage, 3-inch height advantage, and a 1-inch reach advantage, none of which I believe will play in to her advantage. You understand what I'm saying to you? Both of these young women are solid. Both of these young women are well-rounded. Both of these young women have proven that they can be dangerous at certain times. But one of them is just better absolutely everywhere. You understand what I'm saying to you? And that's the Tiny Tornado, man. Luana, medium-low, mid-tier level of opposition. The Tiny Tornado, elite level women's mixed martial artist. You understand what I'm saying to you? Very solid, very well-rounded, very dangerous, and just better absolutely anywhere the fight can take place. You understand what I'm saying to you? Again, this is all just my personal opinion, but this is a price tag in women's MMA that I can get behind justifying, as I do believe Tisha will go out there and produce a body of work worthy of minus 400 or above, securing the victory via unanimous decision, 2 rounds to 1, and I would not be surprised if it was 3 rounds to none. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. Due to the price tag, due to the fact that it's the first fight of the night, and due to the fact that it's women's MMA, all 3 boxes checked in a complete pass section for me. I have nothing to do with this fight, not in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but I am extremely confident that the Tiny Tornado will, be the one leaving victorious. Moving on. We have, I don't know how to pronounce Park's name, man, so Peace of Mind Park. We're going to use his nickname. Peace of Mind Park taking on Carlos Hernandez. Peace of Mind Park open as a slight favorite at minus 190. The Carlos is plus 155 dog tag. 29 years old for Peace of Mind Park. 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. 31 years old for Carlos. 5'8" with a 67-inch reach. We're not really talking about a whole lot as far as physical attributes. The only thing that significantly separates these two individuals from each other is the level of opposition that they've been competing up against. You understand what I'm saying to you? That 9-4 looks a hell of a lot more appealing than that 10-4. But let's talk about that 10-4. I'm not a big fan of Alan Nascimento. We could do without that, but that is still a higher level of opposition than anything on Peace of Mind Park's resume. Now, his last 3 fights have been up against undefeated individuals. They have not made it easy for him. Tat was 14-0, Rai 9-0, and the boy Nye, I don't know how to pronounce his name, was 8-0. He snatched that O. Now he's facing another 9-0. Peace of Mind Park being from the other side, much like Tat and Rai. Will he continue the trend of, undefeated individuals from that side of things remaining undefeated up against Carlos Hernandez, or will Carlos Hernandez kill that curse by snatching this O, making that 2 O's snatched back to back? That is to be determined. Carlos has been finished twice inside the distance, once via KO TKO from being clipped and disconnected from his consciousness, and another via submission. Peace of Mind Park is someone who can get it done in every department. 4 knockouts, 4 submissions, 1 decision. Hasn't been on the wrong side of any of them. It is what it is. He has not faced the level of opposition that Carlos has faced. Carlos may prove on Saturday night to be the highest level of opposition, in his own right, that Peace of Mind Park has ever had to share a cage with. It is what it is. Peace of Mind Park is still the pick with extreme caution. Any action on this fight, the swap out option is highly recommended. Moving on, we have Elise Reed. We have Elise versus Denise, man. And this one I don't get. This one I do not get. I do not get it at all. Not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I am not going to pick switch in this situation. I just do not understand it. We have a minus 500 up against a plus 380. Elise being a plus 380. Denise being a minus 500. Elise has beaten the higher level of opposition, in my personal opinion. Let's talk about Denise real quick, man. You know what I'm talking about? In the UFC. Who cares about that Contender Series showing? Then you lose to Loma Luke-Bume. You beat a prospect in Brazil, a prospect, Bruna Brazil, a prospect in Yasmin. You lose to Angela Hill. You compete in grappling. You come back. You beat another prospect in Eduardo. And then a past her prime, best of days, far behind, Carolina. You beat Carolina. Now let's talk about Elise Reed. All the way down to the bottom, all the way on up, she's faced a higher level of opposition. When Jasmine Jazzavit, however you say Jazz's name, who's doing very well in the UFC, was 4-0 outside of the UFC, Elise Reed handed her her first ever loss. You understand what I'm saying to you? She lost to George, she beat Corey, lost to Sam, beat Melissa, lost to Luma, beat Jinyu Free, lost to Lupi, and beat Jessica Penne. So let's categorize this real quick, man. Over there with Denise, with D. D's wins and losses in the UFC, let's categorize them real quick, man. Loma Luke-Bume and Angela Hill, we'll categorize that. We'll put them in the same category, the highest level of opposition that she's had to compete with. We will take Bruna, Yasmin, and Eduarda, and we will put them in a lower level of opposition, mid-tier as far as these prospects are concerned. And Carolina, that's an OG UFC vet, past her prime, best days behind. So using them categories, let's come on over here. And in the UFC, we can take Corey McKenna. We go with the Loma Luke-Bume and Lupi Godinez loss. We can categorize them with the Loma Luke-Bume and Angela Hill loss. That's the same level of opposition. The Melissa Martinez, Corey McKenna, Jinyu Frey, we can categorize that, with the Yasmin, Bruna, and Eduardas. You understand what I'm saying to you? And then the Jessica Penne, we can categorize that with Carolina. I believe Jessica Penne at this stage in her career, at this point in her life, to be maybe just a bit better than Carolina, but that's just my personal opinion. You understand what I'm saying to you? But I'll categorize them at the same level of opposition. And when we do that, there's no significant difference in the level of opposition that these young women have been, competing up against inside the UFC. It's just the better names in Jasmine, the better name in Jasmine outside of the UFC as far as Elise Reed is concerned. Elise Reed, it's worth noting that, when I categorize Jessica Penne and Carolina in the same category, and Denise just came off a win over Carolina where she landed like 96 out of 166 strikes. Made old girl go like 1 for 3 on takedowns, and she went 0 for 3 on her own. And I believe Elise Reed, her win over Jessica Penne, she was 0 for 0 on takedowns, but she made Jessica Penne go 1 for 13 on takedowns. Jessica Penne landed like 94 strikes, but Elise Reed landed like 290 something or 200 and something out of 300 and something over the course of 15 minutes. The volume is there. The accuracy, the precision, it is there. And she possesses a bit of pop in her shots as well. You understand what I'm saying to you? I am not pick switching. Denise was the pick. I am not going to switch the pick. I want absolutely nothing to do with this shit. This fight, not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Proceed with extreme caution. Elise Reed may come out here and hand her another loss. You understand what I'm saying to you? Via split, via unanimous, via majority. Who the fuck knows? Maybe Denise comes out here, catches Elise, and gives her another loss inside the distance. I really do not see how Denise beats Elise via decision. So maybe y'all want to do that, whatever the fuck it is, for Denise to win inside the distance type situation, because I don't think she wins via decision. But maybe I'm wrong. Denise is the pick. I'm not switching. Proceed with extreme caution, though. The same can be said about Luana and Lisboa, the Thai Panther, who, you know, as far as keeping this fight upright, that's not what Luana wants to be able to happen. The young woman, I know it was fucking 15 years ago, but this just goes to show how long and extensive her striking, you know, history is. She went to a decision in Muay Thai with Valentina Shevchenko and a decision in kickboxing with Valentina Shevchenko. You know what I'm talking about? Norma took her down and submitted her because she didn't want no parts of her on the feet. You know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is. She's a dangerous individual. She's very capable on the feet in the striking department, and I believe Luana is going to want to get this one down to the ground, search for the submission, put this young woman in a compromisable position, and give her another loss inside the distance via submission, because she has lost once inside the distance via submission. Her other loss comes via decision, and that's if Luana, in my personal opinion, is unable to put her in a compromisable position and find a submission, but just, you know, is unable to find a submission, but drags her down multiple times over the course of 15 minutes and puts her in a couple different compromisable positions to edge out the decision. You understand what I'm saying to you? But proceed with extreme caution. I can see Elise Reed doing what she needs to do to out-volume and outwork and produce the better body of work over Denise Gomes, as well as I can see Lisboa keeping this fight upright and piecing Luana the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about? So proceed with extreme caution. Women's MMA, ridiculous price tags on one of them, question marks on both of them, boxes checked off in the complete pass section. Leave them alone, y'all. Leave them alone. Connor Matthews versus the Cuban Problem. I do not know how to pronounce his name, so it's the Cuban Problem versus the Controller, and I believe the Cuban Problem is going to be problematic for the Controller, but he's making his UFC debut. Big question mark on that young man. You understand what I'm saying to you? Minus 420 price tag. I'm not in love with that. Making your UFC debut, question marks all over the matchup. Price tag that I'm not in love with. All boxes checked in the complete pass section. I don't want anything to do with this fight, man. The pick is the Cuban Problem to be problematic for the Controller and get him out of there inside the distance via catching, clipping, and disconnecting him from his consciousness, you know. But to be determined. It is a UFC debuter. Now, Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. This one is not easy, man. This one is not easy at all. Both solid. Both well-rounded. Both have proven that they can be fucking dangerous anywhere that the fight takes place. You understand what I'm saying to you? One of them I do believe to be a bit more dangerous. That's Thiago Moises. But one of them I do believe to be a bit more durable and have a bit more dog and a bit more heart in him. That's Jared Gordon. One I do believe to be a bit more quicker, a bit more faster on the feet, and a bit more relentless. That's Thiago Moises. But that's where that heart, that durability, that endurance, that dog, that grit, that never want to quit from Jared Gordon comes in. You understand what I'm saying to you? Fuck, man. This is not an easy one, but there's also one of these individuals who's also been victim to not only a robbery, a strong arm robbery, but a fucking home invasion since being in the UFC. And that's Jared Gordon, man. I mean, there's robberies from the judges, there's strong arm robberies from the judges, and there's just outright home invasions where they send Bruce Buffer in there to just snatch victory right out of your fucking hands. You understand what I'm saying to you? And unfortunately for Jared Gordon, he falls in that category, man. They do not like this motherfucker on the cards, no matter what he does. And I don't know that they're going to like him more than Thiago Moises. This thing's going to be tight like ant pussy. You hear what I'm saying to you? Very, very, very competitive and closely contested. And because of that, I have to take Thiago Moises to edge it via majority robbery. You know what I mean? But there will be swap out option applied to the parlays where I have that fight involved. Moving on. We have the Jaguar I do not know how to pronounce his last name, Matus, the Jaguar versus Gabe Gifted Green, Triple G. This boy think he's slick. Jaguar. Jaguar. I know I'm not tripping. That's fucking William Gomis, right? Ain't that William Gomis's nickname? Jaguar or the Jaguar? One or the other. Either way you look at it. We got another Jaguar in the mix. You know what I'm talking about? And he opened as a slight favorite, minus 175 over Gabe Green, the Gifted. 32 years old, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach, going against Jaguars, 24 years old, 5'9" with a reach that is not listed on Tapology as of right now. You know what I'm talking about? And there's a nice little age gap there. There's a youth advantage of about 8 years for the Jaguar. But you know how I feel about that when we're talking about 24 to 32. At 24, you're still coming into. You still have learning curves. You still have things to learn, obstacles to overcome. Where at 32, you may very well be just entering your prime. You know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is, man. The only real significant difference is the level of opposition that they've been competing against. You know what I'm talking about? Gabe, you know, he hasn't had it easy, if we're being honest, you know what I mean? A loss to Brian Battle, a decision loss to Ian Gary, and a decision loss to Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, that's the homie, man. The win over Phil Rowe and Johan, welcome to the club, nothing to call home about, you know what I mean? But you have been competing up against a higher level of opposition. Not a good nail, though, a great hammer. You understand what I'm saying to you? He gets cracked and clipped and knocked out in the first round in like 14 seconds. He gets cracked and clipped and knocked out in the first round by Jalen Turner outside the UFC in like 36 or 40-something seconds. The boy doesn't react well to getting touched on that fucking button, and he's been knocked out 3 times. You understand what I'm saying to you? So one would like to think that this individual, the Jaguar, you know, he's somebody who can get it done in every department, knockouts, submissions, decisions. Gabe's, you know, most victories inside the distance come via submission. He's never lost via submission. So one would like to think the Jaguar is going to want to get this one done, you know, on the feet in the striking department and not just, you know, not play around down there. Gifted Gabe Green is going to be bigger. He is trying to bully something. He wasn't doing well up at 170, so he's coming down to 155. If I'm not mistaken, Matus, the Jaguar, might be coming up to 155. He might have fought down at 145 prior to this. So he might be coming up just to get his debut, and Gabe Green's coming down to see what he can do about being a better bully in the lightweight division. I hope for that. You know, if that's the case right there, Gabe coming down to attempt to be a bully, you know what I mean? Because that's what he is. He tried to bully Brian Battle up against the motherfucking cage and got caught and clipped. He tried to bully Jalen Turner and got caught and clipped. Everybody he tries to bully and catches him, they clip him and disconnect him from his fucking consciousness. When he's able to get away with it, which I'm thinking he's going to try to, you know, he's thinking he's going to be more successful with down here at lightweight, and because of that, I hope he gets starched. I hope he gets stiffened up. First round, again, just gets caught, clipped, and disconnected, and just laid the fuck out trying to be a bully. It didn't work at your natural weight, and I hope it doesn't work for you down here. Even if it works on Saturday night, it won't work for him for too long down there. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. Jaguars the pick for a fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with, man. Juicy J. Julian Rosa versus old boy Costa, man. I don't know how to pronounce Costa's first name. I don't know how to pronounce his nickname, so it's Juicy J versus Costa, man. And it is what it is. Plus 180 for Juicy J, minus 220 for Costa opening. You can give me Juicy J all day, every day, even on Sunday when I'm cashing them dog plate tickets. You understand what I'm saying to you? Listen, they're both solid. They're both well-rounded, and they both proven that they can be dangerous. It's just one of them that's a bit more solid, a bit more well-rounded, a bit more dangerous, a bit more experienced at this level of opposition, man. It's Julian Rosa for me, man. The young man possesses pop in each and every one of his individual shots. You understand what I'm saying to you? Costa is not the longer, lankier, stronger, you know, faster. He's none of that. He's none of that in this matchup. All of that goes to Julian Rosa. More pop in each and every one of his individual shots. He's fucking faster. You understand what I'm saying to you? I believe he's a bit more accurate on the feet as well, man. More dominant in the wrestling and grappling departments, and more dangerous as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, man. Way more active and way more dangerous guard. Respect the Costa, man. But there's a reason he's coming off a decision win over Christian Rodriguez, and Julian Erosa got him out of there inside the distance, relative quickness, first round via submission. One takedown, one submission attempt. It's the level of opposition. The shit is different. You understand what I'm saying to you? Julian Erosa is dangerous, and I get it. It's a fight, and Julian Erosa is kill or be killed. But over the last 18 to 24, maybe 36 months even, he's dialed that in a bit more. It's a bit more of a controlled chaos. He's a bit more of a technical practitioner with that, you know, chaotic approach. It's not so chaotic. Now he's picking, you know, he's picking his shots, and them shots, like I said, they possess a bit of pop in each and every one of those individual shots, man. He makes you uncomfortable on the feet, which then makes you shoot, which then gives him all the opportunities to lock something up, snap something, or put you to sleep. You're going to tap. It's not going to go good for you, man. You know what I mean? It's not going to go well for you. In my personal opinion, this is a very bad stylistic matchup for Costa, because he's not going to be able to get off in the departments that he wants to get off in. He's not going to be able to do what he's usually able to do. He's not the more dominant wrestler and grappler. He's not the more dominant or dangerous jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's not the more dominant striker. He's not faster. He doesn't hit harder. He's outworked everywhere, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? It's a fight. Maybe he can find a way to get it done, catch and clip and disconnect Julian Erosa. But at this point in Julian Erosa's life, at 35 years old, prime time Julian Erosa, Juicy J, after all the experience, all the motherfucking potholes, roadblocks, and learning curves, man, I think we're beginning to see the best that there is to see from Julian Erosa, and I'm rocking with Juicy J to get this one done inside the distance via KO, TKO, or submission. And unfortunately, you know, for Costa, he's fell victim in, you know, both departments. So has Julian Erosa, but he's never been in there with an individual like Julian Erosa. So it's Juicy J for me. Give me that plus money. Moving on, Nurse Sultan versus Dustin. That man's nickname is just Black. 31, 33, 6'5" to 6 foot, 67, 76 inches to 75. Only significant difference is the 5 inches in height, man. The reach is about neck and neck, 31 and 33. It is what it is, man. Nurse Sultan is the pick, but I am not delusional about this shit. Dustin Stolfus is stubborn. He's very consistent with his stubbornness. He's very consistent with his stubborn approach. And I would not be surprised if he came out here and pulled a salsa boy on Nurse Sultan. And Nurse Sultan looked like Robelis de Spain out there. Now listen, man. Nurse Sultan has, what, 13 or 14 knockouts and 20 submissions? Where we at? 13 knockouts and 20 submissions on top of only 2 decisions. He's lost 7 decisions. He's lost via KO, TKO once, and he's lost via submission once. He's lost 7 decisions. Normally when it goes the distance, he's not on the right side of it. And if Dustin can find a way to get in there, much like Joaquin Buckley did, he laid out the blueprint, get in there and Tito Ortiz and just get him down, stay in his guard, find that dominance, maintain control, do enough not to get stood up, and you'll drag this one out. Now, Nurse Sultan, I'm hoping he catches him with a lot of his submissions come via club and sub. So I'm hoping he catches him with a knockout or an uppercut coming in for a, you know, takedown or a grappling sequence. And, you know what I mean, is able to club and sub him for the submission in the second round, or he just stiffens him up and knocks him out in the first. To be determined. Proceed with extreme caution, though, because Dustin could come out here and just fuck everybody's shit up. That's on the side of Nurse Sultan anyway, by just pulling a salsa boy and rinsing, repeating, and staying safe on top. Moving on to my one pick switch. We have the legend taking on Super Sadiq. And, you know, my original picks when I just ran them out, you know what I mean, in the it was written 15-second clip that I uploaded, you know, that's my gut pick, man. That's what my gut's screaming. I looked at the, you know, looked at the faces, looked at the names, and I'm like, all right, you know, I'm fucking with the young bull. And I was a little down on Sadiq, but then I had to remind myself why I was a little bit down on Sadiq. You know what I'm talking about? We have to talk about the 13-4, because the 15-1 looks a hell of a lot more appealing, but we have to talk about the 13-4, man. You know, what does Marion Santos do with Diego Lopez? Edson Barboza in a 5-round main event in 2023 or Arnold Allen? Absolutely nothing, in my personal opinion. He gets unanimous decision by Arnold Allen. He gets unanimous decision in a close competitive fight by Edson Barboza because Marion had slowed down. He showed some slowing down in the 3rd round. Imagine a 5-round fight with Edson Barboza, man. What does he do? And then what does he look like in there with Diego Lopez? If he doesn't lose via decision, he might lose via knockout from getting caught, clipped, and disconnected inside the distance as well, man. And then the Don Shainis, Alex Caceres, Andre Philly, Gabriel Benitez, Mike Davis, these individuals, you know, that he caught dubs over, to be determined on what level of opposition Marion Santos really is. This is where Marion Santos, in my personal opinion, the legend, shows how good he really is up against somebody like Super Sadiq, who at 31 years old is just now, crazy to say it for his motherfucker, you know, he's been around for a minute and motherfuckers been talking about him and watching him, so, you know, but he's just now 31. He's just now coming into his prime, and we know how I feel about that age gap of 31 to 24 on the other side for Santos. He's still learning, you know what I mean? He still has a way to go and some obstacles to overcome, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I think Sadiq Youssef is going to be a roadblock, you know, along his way. So that is my one and only pick switch, Super Sadiq, man. There will be a swap out option applied to the parlays moving on. Bellato versus Paul, and it is what it is, man. We all know how to beat Paul. 6'3" to 6'3", 37 to 29. Paul very much probably exiting his prime a bit early. Sometimes that prime can go 39 into your 40s. But I think Paul has been beat on a bit too much and has a little bit too much damage on him. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. He's dangerous. We know. You know, Magomed Ankalaev showed us not to follow this man to the ground no matter how bad you have him beat down. You understand what I'm saying to you? So 6'3" to 6'3", they standing eye to eye, 37 to 29. One coming into his prime. One may very well still be in or exiting his prime. 76 to 77 and a half. I like the fact that Bellato, with that pop and power, has an 1.5-inch reach on him. Keep Paul back. Keep Paul at bay. Just keep cracking him and dropping him down till knocking him down till he doesn't want to get up no more. Like how Chuck Liddell did. Fuck, man. What was my man? Jeremy Horn. Was that Jeremy? The boy that choked Chuck out in his UFC. I think it was UFC debut. He was choking Chuck, man. And then they stopped the round and Chuck just never got up. So that was the L. And Chuck wanted that back. And he got it back like UFC 54 or something like that. Cracked him until he just didn't want to get up and fight no more. He told the ref, man, I couldn't see right after the first or second round when he hit me with that right hook. I've been just seeing multiple people out there. I can't see right. I don't want to fight no more, man. He just needs to do him like Chuck did Jeremy. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. I don't like the price tag at -500. You know how I feel about that, but Bellato is the pick. Moving on, main event. We got Burns versus Morales, and with all due respect to Gilbert Burns, 5'10", 71-inch reach, 38 years old, probably leaving his prime as well, 25 years old, still coming into elite, into what's going to be an elite level mixed martial artist, in my personal opinion, for Michael Morales. 6 feet with a 79-inch reach, and that 8 inches in reach, it's going to pay. It's going to pay its dues, man. I like Burns. I like him. I know what he's going to try to do in here. I know he's going to try to get this one down to the mat. I know he's going to try to rinse and repeat. I know he's going to, you know, give everything he has, man. And you got to love him. You got to respect him for that. But I got Michael Morales, get him out of there inside the distance via KO, TKO. Somewhere inside of 15 minutes, if we being honest, but definitely inside of 20. You know what I'm talking about? I don't think Gilbert Burns is going to be able to survive. He's another individual he's got some wear on him. He's got some miles on him. You know what I'm talking about? He's taking a fucking beating. He's giving a fucking beating. You feel me? Great hammer, nail. You can't say much bad about Burns, man. He's always in the motherfucking fight. You know what I'm talking about? But I don't think this is the one for him, man. I don't think this is the one for him. I think, you know, This kid's gonna be problematic for a lot of people. He could have been problematic, for individuals who left the division. We may never know. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, and I'm rocking with the kid, man. Michael Morales to go ahead and be the one to get it done. So that's 12 fights. If I'm not mistaken, that's 10 favorites and 2 dogs. Them 2 dogs that I do expect to bark. They're just a bit more, they're just a bit better absolutely everywhere in my personal opinion. Too solid, too well-rounded, have proven that they can be too dangerous, and have just faced the higher levels of opposition in their wins and their losses. So let's talk about it real quick, man. The Tiny Tornado at -400 over Luana. Not in love with the price tag, but extremely confident she gets it done. Peace of Mind Park over Carlos Hernandez via unanimous decision, 2 rounds to 1. Maybe it's a split, maybe it's a majority, maybe he finds the finish inside the distance and continues the trend of the undefeated individuals from over there remaining undefeated against Carlos Hernandez. To be determined, proceed with extreme caution. Swap out options should be applied, in my personal opinion. Peace of Mind Park is the pick. I don't want anything to do with Denise and Elise. Fuck this fight. Stay all the way away from it unless you're extremely confident in one side or the other. I have a bad feeling that if Denise doesn't get Elise out of there inside the distance, she's going to find herself falling behind very early, very quickly, and it's going to be very hard to get up out of that hole. So Denise is the pick, because I'm not pick switching on, for these females, because I care less about these fights, man. But proceed with extreme caution, man. Luana is the pick over Lisboa. Hopefully she finds a way to get this one down to the ground, rinse and repeat, put old girl in some compromisable positions, possibly find a submission or at least get a unanimous decision. But proceed with extreme caution, man. The Cuban Problem to be problematic for the controller, but it's a UFC debuter at -420 with question marks all over it. I don't want anything to do with it, but he is the pick. Thiago Moises is the pick via majority robbery over Jared Gordon. I don't even want to talk about that one because it just makes me mad how they do Jared Gordon like that. Majority robbery for Thiago Moises, man. Hopefully, Jaguar cleans Gifted's clock and shows him that, you couldn't be a bully at 170. You're not going to be a bully down here, man. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is. I don't like that kid, but this is an individual making his UFC debut. Question marks all over the fight. I don't want anything to do with it. Juicy J all day, every day, even on Sunday. That's my guy. He's going to get Costa up out of there inside the distance. He's been put out inside the distance. So as Juicy J, I'm not saying nothing about that. I'm just saying primetime Juicy J on Saturday is getting Costa up out of here. Nurse Sultan versus Dustin. Proceed with extreme caution. I would not be surprised if Dustin came in here, that salsa boy shit, and made Nurse Sultan look like Robelis of Spain, unable to get the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about? Just Tito Ortiz him from inside the guard type shit. Nurse Sultan's the pick. Proceed with extreme caution. Sadiq, Super Sadiq is the one pick switch this week from Marion Santos. I'm taking Super Sadiq over the legend, the experience, the fact that he is just now at 31, entering his prime, and we may actually see the best performance from him on Saturday night. I'm okay. I'm comfortable with them 2 dog picks of Super Sadiq and Juicy J. Moving on, it's Bellato to hopefully go ahead and just knock Paul Craig smooth the fuck out, or beat the fight out of him. And then, unfortunately, it's Michael Morales to be the one to get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm calling a clipping and disconnecting from the consciousness inside of 17 minutes, man. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. This has been the full card breakdown of predictions for UFC Fight Night, Burns versus Morales. My most confident picks will be incoming a little bit later on this afternoon. as well as, you know, my personal parlays that I'm going to be investing into this afternoon. You understand what I'm saying to you? And that's that with that, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Stay tapped in. Peace and blessings.